Boris Crybaby Kreiman. This was on board 2 of the World Open. Get away from that. Okay. This was round 7. And before the game started, there were 2 boards next to each other, board 1 and board 2. See? No lies detected. And we were on board 2. On board 1 were Onishuk and Smirin. Smirin had the black pieces. Right before we shook hands and started the game, I pointed to Smirin's board. He had the black pieces, and I explained to him his king and queen were set up wrong, and then he switched them. Otherwise, they would have started with the pieces wrong. So I don't know what would have happened then. But I saved the day. Okay, so this is my game with Boris Crybaby Kreiman. We played this theoretical line that I know, that Luc Winans taught me in Belgium, R.I.P., bishop c5. We played the main line. Okay, in this position, my opponent played a very bad move. This is theory. I've had this position several times with black. My opponent played a very bad move and offered me a draw. The move is like almost losing. Knight bd2. That simply undefends the d4 pawn. So I took the d4 pawn. Okay, so if he takes back, I'm a pawn up. So he took my knight, getting rid of one of my defenders of d4. I played the Zwischenzug. D takes c3. He played a Zwischenzug. Bishop takes b7. You could also call that a desperado. Unclear which terminology is correct. Bishop takes b7. B takes c3. Material is equal. However, black can now win a pawn by playing the move g5. Now if he plays bishop g3, I play knight takes e4, and I'm a pawn up with the 2 bishops. So he correctly sacrificed his knight. And in this position, I made the second best move. The best move is rook e8 with the idea of rook e6 defending my knight. But I defended my knight immediately. He played queen f3, and now I made a mistake. I could play rook e8. I could play rook b8. And those are probably the 2 best moves. I played queen e7, which is okay. And this is very funny. I'm going to show you the end of the game. Then I'm going to come back to here because I have a story to tell you. My opponent played queen g3. I played queen e6. He doesn't have a good discovered check. He played knight f3, threatening bishop f6 check, king f6, queen g5 mate. I played knight takes e4, and he resigned. And the engine says that I'm +5. I'm a piece up for a pawn, and he is nothing. Okay, so I won the game, and Onishuk and Smirin looked at us because the game went 17 moves and lasted about an hour. And I won with black. So they're sitting there on board 1, and they're like, how does Ben win on board 2 with black in 17 moves? So I like shrugged looking at them. Then I went into the audience because there's the top 2 boards are in its own room, and there's like chairs for people to sit. And Aviv was there, my friend Aviv Friedman. Exclam Aviv if you want lessons. And I said, like, I saw all this before I went into it, and then everything's great. And Aviv said, what if he plays e5 instead? And I was like, oh, I didn't see e5. That threatens this and threatens this. Oops. So it turns out it's equal. I take. He takes on f6. I take. He takes on b7. Now, black has an interesting move, which probably gives him the advantage that I never would have seen, which is d5. And the idea with d5 is if he takes my pawn, I play rook d8 and win his knight. If he doesn't take my pawn, I'm threatening rook b8, and his queen is trapped because of queen a6, bishop f2 check. So the engine says white must play c4 here. It's the only move. Then after rook fd8, for some reason, I'm much better. I guess if you take this, I still win your queen. If you play here, I take and take your knight. And if you play queen a6, I take your queen. Bishop takes check and queen takes queen. So after d5, black is still slightly better. And the funny thing was, I didn't see e5, and I think my opponent didn't see e5 either. If he saw e5, I think he would have played it. But the idea is if you take, then you take here with check, and white's up a pawn in this position. And winning, probably. So we both missed e5, and if I play perfectly, I'm still better, but I don't think I would have seen d5. So that was an exciting game, except that we both missed e5. But I won quickly, and that's what matters. This tournament, I got my first GM norm, and according to the arbiter, I had half a point more than needed. I thought I needed a draw in the last round, but after the game, they said, no, I think you got half a point more. So, go, Ben. Yay, go Nightbot.